everybody, my name is Cole Whip, and welcome back to episode 6 of your no BS guide to the best guns inside of Modern Warfare Zombies. Just a reminder, all guns tested in this series are tested at epic rarity. They are rated on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being that kind of average midway point. We rate them on ammo capacity, crowd control, and bosses. We're kicking this episode off with the Vel 46. When it comes to ammo capacity, you have 120 rounds in your magazine, 540 rounds in reserve. We're going to give this gun a 6.5 out of 10. It's got a moderate fire rate, so that ammunition really does get you a pretty good long way. So 6.5 out of 10. Let's move on to crowd control. I'm going to give this gun a 7.5 out of 10 when it comes to crowd control. I really feel like it's right in between average and OP. The fire rate is kept in check. It doesn't fire too quickly. You don't have to reload all the time. It does really good critical damage. It can take out all your regular zombies, your standard bosses, anything that you have chasing you. It really takes them out with ease. Let's move on. Let's see how it does against bosses. I'm going to give this gun a 7 out of 10 when it comes to bosses. I feel like it is a little bit above average compared to some other weapons. It's not going to completely delete them like a lot of the OP weapons will, but it does get the job done against Mega Abominations, Disciples, Manglers, all the bosses in the game, whether bounty or non-bounty. It does get the job done. It's a very solid weapon to use. Let's move on to the build and the final rating. A thank you to Evan Vovolis for recommending this weapon for us to test out in the gun guide. If you would like to recommend a weapon to be tested on these gun guide episodes, please go ahead, comment down below, let me know which guns you would like to see. In the link in the description below is an Excel file that will show you all the weapons that have been tested, what episode they've been tested in, and what weapons still yet to be tested. So go ahead, check that out. If you'd like to recommend a weapon, please do so in the comment section. We're going to give this weapon a final rating of 7 out of 10. It is very above average. It's a very good, solid choice of a weapon to use inside of MWZ. The build is up on screen if you would like to check it out for yourself. And let's go ahead and let's move on to the next one. If you haven't done so already, please consider dropping a like down below. It really does help the algorithm continue to push this video to more and more people. Our channel is growing so incredibly fast. It's thanks to each and every one of you for all of the love and support. If you haven't already subbed to the channel, please do so. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss a video. This next weapon is the SO14. It's an MW2 battle rifle. This one was recommended live on stream by Cow Nuggets for us to test out, so we're going to do that now. This SO14, when it comes to ammo capacity, you have 100 rounds in your magazine, 600 rounds in reserve. It can be run in single fire or fully auto, that we chose to mostly play with fully auto during this gameplay. We're going to give this gun a 7.5 out of 10. It is definitely above average when it comes to ammo capacity, with one caveat: it does fire very quickly in fully auto mode, so you can find yourself running out of ammo from time to time, although it's not generally an issue, and it is definitely above average from some of the other guns inside of the game. Crowd control, we're going to give this gun just a 7.5 out of 10, and you're about to see why right about now. When you run out of ammo, it's got a very slow reload, but once you get that reload popped, you can just destroy everything else around you. This gun was incredibly fun to use all game long. Didn't really cause us any issues. Takes out zombies without a problem. Let's move on. Let's see how it does against bosses. We tested this gun in both fully auto and semi-auto mode, and it did not really appear to make much of a difference when firing this gun in semi-auto, especially when it comes to bosses. But just watch us fire this mega, this laser attack incoming, and we're just ripping chunks away from him in fully auto mode. We're going to give this gun an 8 out of 10 when it comes to bosses, and we're going to move on to the build and the final rating. I'm going to rate this gun a final rating of 8 out of 10. It was a ton of fun to use. The only real downside that we saw during gameplay was the slow reload speed, but that's certainly something that you can overcome in game. The build is up on screen that we used during this game. If you would like to try it out for yourself, please do so. You, I'm sure, will also have a ton of fun doing so. And we're going to move on next to the ISO 9mm. An MW2 SMG, the ISO 9mm. When it comes to ammo capacity on this gun, it is probably the worst in the game. You get 100 rounds in your magazine, 300 in reserve, or 400 rounds that you can just fire if you're using mags of holding like we did in this match. But the thing is, it fires so fast. It's one of the fastest firing guns in the game, and you just blow through this ammunition, and quite honestly, it's a problem. 3 out of 10 on ammo capacity. When it comes to crowd control and bosses, we can sum all of this up into this single clip right here. As you can see, we are not doing a ton of damage against just standard zombies around us. The gun fires very quick and has a very low damage output altogether. When it comes to crowd control, we're going to give it a 2 out of 10. As you can see, we're not doing much damage there. When it comes to bosses, we're not doing any damage to this mega abomination here. We're barely doing any damage to the zombies around us. Damage output is so incredibly low. The fire rate is so fast. The ammo capacity is so low. This is one of the worst guns that I have ever used inside of this game. I would not recommend this gun to anybody. I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 on bosses. And let's move on to the build we used and the final rating, in case you yourself also like pain and want to try out this gun. So officially my lowest rated gun inside of MWZ, a rating of 1.5 for its final rating. I don't recommend this gun to anybody, but if you do want to try it, the build is up on screen. Go ahead, give it a go for yourself. And last up for today's episode, we have another MW2 assault rifle, the M13B. This one was recommended on stream as well. I did not catch who recommended, so I do apologize for that. Ammo capacity for this gun, you have 120 rounds in your magazine, 900 in reserve, or 1020 rounds to just fire with mags of holding like we did in this match here. We're going to give this gun a rating of 8 out of 10 when it comes to ammo capacity, and let's see how it does against these crowds of zombies. Just a quick clarification before I do give my crowd control rating here. With ammo capacity, I gave it an 8 out of 10 because it does have a faster fire rate than a lot of the other assault rifles that have similar ammo capacities. That's why I just notched it just a little bit because of the fire rate. When it comes to crowd control, we're going to give this gun a 6.5 out of 10. It is above average when it comes to taking out these hordes of zombies, but the damage output is a little bit low on it. You are going to need to have Deadshot Daiquiri on, and you are going to need to hit those criticals. That does help. We're going to go ahead, let's move on, and let's see how this gun does against bosses. You can give this gun a rating of 3 out of 10 when it comes to bosses. The damage just is not there. The very high fire rate, but a very low damage output just does not equate to very good boss fights. In this fight with this Disciple, I had the full 1020 rounds when I started the fight. I picked up ammunition from zombies that I had killed, and still none of that was enough. I still had to go find an ammo cache. I still had to resupply the ammo and come back to the fight. It took almost 6 minutes to kill this Disciple, and probably 4,000 plus rounds fired into him. It was just an absolute bullet sponge. Let's move on to the build and the final rating. I'm going to give this gun a final rating of 5 out of 10. It's nothing more than just an average gun inside of MWZ. It does nothing excellent. It does everything okay. So yeah, 5 out of 10. If you would like to try it out, the build is up on screen for you here. And that's going to do it for episode 6 of the Ultimate Gun Guide. On screen now are all the weapons tested inside of this episode, along with their final rating. If you haven't done so already, please drop a like on the video, sub to the channel, turn on those notifications so you don't miss a video. Down in the description below is the link to our Discord if you would like to join, as well as the spreadsheet for all of the guns that we have been testing on these Ultimate Gun Guide episodes. YouTube thinks that you're going to enjoy this video here, so go ahead and check that out. And my name is Cole Whip, and I'm out.